Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, it's your boy Vic Sling Hope, and I got another video for y'all. In this video, I am going to be discussing why the strong, independent woman is actually a man. I know it sounds a little crazy to some of y'all, but I'm going to break that down. A strong woman is a man. I'm going to explain that. I'm going to break down my analysis. But before I even get into my analysis, make sure if you've been rocking with your boy, that you like, you comment, you share, and that you subscribe so you can stay tuned to my upcoming content. By the way, I also published a book. You can hit the link in the description. It's called Who Profits When the Black Man Gang Bang. Right? So make sure y'all go check that out. Show your support. I truly appreciate it. Now let's get into the commentary, right? So it all starts in childhood, right? And I'm gonna explain this, but the in simple terms is women handle trauma totally different than men handle trauma and obstacles and things along the road, right? So I'm gonna break this down. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna give you that's just the short answer. So a lot of times, what oftentimes makes a man, like the obstacles that he goes through, the weather after the storm. After the storm, you get what I'm saying. That usually makes a man. How a man comes out of hurt, out of pain, out of triumph, right? When he overcomes his enemies and circumstances, he becomes a man. Oftentimes, so what happens is to our sisters, it's kind of like the same thing. When she goes through similar things, she becomes a man too. But let me break this down. So from early childhood, right? Men are taught from early childhood, like, you don't matter, basically. We're gonna sacrifice you. You're gonna go to war. You're gonna die protecting yourself or your family, etc. Right? Which is why there's always the saying of protect the women and the children and the elderly, right? They don't say protect the man. They say protect the women, the children, and the elderly, because these are the vulnerable people in our community, right? So even from an early childhood, right, when a boy falls and he scrapes his knee, they tell him suck it up, because they're building soldiers, basically. They're telling him, they want him to be stoic, right? So it's like, not show emotions, not show feelings, suck it up, be strong, right? The woman, on the other hand, the little girl, when she falls and she scrapes her knees, everybody tends to her, right? Everybody goes over there, picks her up, consoles her. She grows up with that, right, from an early on age, because women are like delicate eggs, right? They need our protection. For the most part, if we live in a cohesive environment, like I said, the women, children, and the elderly are supposed to be under the protection of the man, the strong man, right? So what happens is, when you don't have that, especially when you don't have a two-parent household, or when you don't have that type of community, oftentimes what happens is the women are not being raised like delicate eggs. Oftentimes they are being raised to have to fend for themselves, right? They're being raised in broken homes and traumatic environments, and they have to go out there kind of like the guys to go get it. Another example is this. Usually, a father is supposed to take care of his daughter until a next man comes along to take on the responsibilities of the dad. That's why I call it the new daddy, right? Your new daddy, which is your husband, right? He's supposed to take you from the hands of your father, from the responsibilities that your father had, right? Of protecting you, of nurturing you, of caring for you, of providing for you. When you find a man that, your father usually vets, right? Because this used to be traditionally, this used to be part of the thing, right? Your father meets the man that you're planning on marrying, and he checks him out to see if he's a good fit for you, right? If he's a nice man to take his daughter away from him so he can be responsible for her. When a man does that, your father is passing on the torch to this new man, right? So it's almost like, for the most part, a woman is always supposed to be in the care of a man. Generally speaking, that's not something that's happening, but generally speaking, she's supposed to always be in that nurturing and that protection of a man, of a strong man, right? So what happens is we don't have that. So a lot of times these mothers, this is what I say, a lot single mothers, they struggle raising kids, right? They lose control of their kids. And another thing I notice is mothers tend to be harder on their daughters than their sons, right? So a lot of women I know can attest to this, that their mothers gave them hell, yet they treated their brothers like kings. They let them do whatever they wanted to do, right? Because it's the secret animosity between a woman, a mom, and her daughter. Just like there's a secret animosity between a son and his father, right? This is all psychological shit. I know a lot of people don't like what Sigmund Freud had to say, but this shit is real shit, right? So anyway, so mothers are harder on their daughters, right? So a lot of times the daughters get pushed into a situation where they had enough and they usually leave home. They run away from home. Sometimes the boys still stay there. The mom still treating him like a king, doing his laundry, cooking for him, doing everything. But when it comes to that daughter, a lot of times the moms be telling the daughter, cook for your brother, do this for your brother. Like the daughter becomes the mom in a sense, right? So a lot of times in these households, it creates an unbearable environment. So I don't want to make this too long. Long story short is, a lot of times these women end up becoming independent, highly independent, hyper independence, right? Which they don't really, when they actually meet certain men, they don't even allow these men to do certain things because they've been traumatized in early childhood. Some of these women have been raped. Like I said, 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 women have been sexually assaulted, right? In some cases, it's been by stepdads or it's been by weird random men that the single moms bring home. Sometimes it's been by an uncle, so it's a lot of this stuff going on, right? So when a woman endures the kind of like similar strains and roadblocks, kind of like just things along the road, right? Like a man, that's usually what makes a man, right? Like a man that has been through some shit, has been through the fire, and he has come out of that as, like it's like a lot of times when a man go to prison, right, and he come home, he didn't get cut, he's strong, he he got muscles, he got certain things. I'm just using that as an example, right? A lot of times people in the community look at him like, wow, like you made it through some shit. Like, and a lot of times some men will tell you like, yo, that made me a better man. You got people like Malcolm X, you got a whole bunch of brothers that went to prison and made them a better man, right? Oftentimes when women go through similar things like that, when she has to fend for herself, she has to become a little more aggressive. When she really doesn't have nobody to really rely on, she starts to develop qualities of a man. This is why if I guarantee you, I want y'all to do this as a social experiment. Take the most masculine women in your life and get to know them. Get to know their upbringing. Get to know their childhood. Get to know how it really was. And even if she came from a 2-parent household, get to know what was her relationship with her father, right? Get to know, like, because it could still be a broken home. A 2-parent home could still be a broken home. So just get to know, and I guarantee you, oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes, these women went through a lot of shit. They got put through a lot of shit. It was a lot of hurdles. It was a lot of not being able to trust people. So they had to self-soothe. For a man, it's almost like natural. Like a man already know, like, I only got me. It's me, myself, and I. Like I gotta be stoic. I gotta be strong. I gotta be aggressive. I gotta be all these things. These are like man qualities, right? So a man already knows. Like I said, from the moment he's born, he's already told, like, you're gonna go to the army. You're gonna fight. You're gonna have to defend. You're gonna have to do these things, right? A woman, on the other hand, she's not supposed to be raised like that. So when she's being raised like, my daddy not around, I don't have no man to protect me, my mother is giving me shit, she's abusing me verbally and sometimes physically, or she's bringing men to the house and they're abusing me, or I got an uncle that's abusing me, or when she's going through a lot of things and she's not being treated as a delicate egg that she should be treated as, she becomes a man. This is why you see a lot of our sisters with this hyper masculine shit. Some of the most toxic masculine people I've met are women. Yeah, are women, right? So that's kind of like my analysis. I could go deeper and more into it. So when I hear women say, this is why I tell you I don't date women who say I'm an independent, strong woman, because I already know what that means. That's screaming trauma. Because think about it. If you are a woman that was raised on love, not toxic love, if you was raised on love, on nurture, on care, if you was raised a certain way, there's no way you out here running around talking about I'm an independent, strong woman. He's not. I don't care who comes in this comment section and try to tell me otherwise. Most women don't want to be that. Some women do. Some women like being a little nigga. Excuse my language. Some women like being a man. They like wearing the pants. Some women got penis envy. That's another thing that Sigmund Freud came up with, right? Penis envy. Some women do want the power that a man has. They really do. Some people, so some of them are they love that shit. But I encourage you, if you look at most positions of women that work in male dominated spaces, right, who are in positions of leadership, most of them are masculine. Most of them are stoic. Most of them have a certain level of aggression. They got a lot of male qualities. And a lot of times they need that for their workplace, and they need that in the world. In a world that doesn't really traditionally protect our women like the delicate eggs that they are, a lot of times these sisters have to fend for themselves and they become men. Which is why the men, some of the brothers are clashing. And when I say some of the brothers, because a lot of men are feminine today, right? Because they was coddled. See, it's the opposite thing, right? When a man is not allowed to make mistakes, when he's not allowed to go through the ringer, when he's not allowed to go out there and figure shit out because his mama is coddling him, he becomes feminine. I'm telling you, man, I'm not even getting into the food and all the stuff that we are being fed in the media and all of that stuff. When a mother coddles her son and she doesn't give him room to make mistakes, she makes him feminine. Because the woman is supposed to be coddled. She's the one that's supposed to be my little baby, my little delicate egg, right? When you go to the supermarket and you buy eggs, you make sure you take care of your eggs. You put your eggs on the top. You keep your eyes on the eggs. You get what I'm saying? You don't just start piling shit up on top of the eggs. You don't start straining the egg out. You get what I'm saying? You're a little mindful with your eggs. You take care of your eggs. And what's happening to our women that's making them masculine, making them little dudes, is that they're not receiving that care. I mean, like I said, some sisters, it's a little different. There's always an exception. There's some sisters who probably were raised on love and they drinking the juice. But oftentimes, this is what it is. Women respond differently to trauma than men. Which is when a woman tells me that, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna make a video about this. I'm sorry, like, and I know it could come from a place of she been hurt and she been traumatized and she's went through some shit, but we all gotta fix our own shit. You know, I got some trauma that I wish I didn't have, but I still gotta be a man. I still gotta fix myself because I can't be walking around with that bleeding on other people. So it's gonna take the sisters to recognize that, you know what? I need to try to figure out how to get back to my feminine ways. And some women are too far gone. Some of them are too far gone. But you know, if you really, for the ones who really want to make the effort and really want to restore their femininity and get back to it, you know, there's Charm School. I'm not even trying to be funny. Charm School. Get with some feminine women that you might feel like they're feminine. And I'm a man, so I'm not really qualified, but like, so I don't really know. All I could think of was about Charm School, right? Because back in the days, a lot of women used to go to Charm School, right? They used to learn how to knit. They used to learn how to cook there. They used to learn how to do a lot of different things. So that might be able to work. But I'm a man. I can't really tell you what you should do as a woman. But you should recognize that, like, you know what? I do be acting like a little boy. I got like 2 friends that told me that themselves. Like, I do be acting masculine. And I'm trying to work on it. And I'm trying to change it. So you got to make the conscious decision that it's not okay. This is causing you to clash with your men, not the feminine one, but the actual men. because men, you know how men are with each other, they clash. And so yeah, it's gonna hinder you from possibly finding a mate, or a mate that you really want to lead you in the right way. So let me know what y'all thoughts are in the comment section, and make sure you like, you comment, you share, and you subscribe. Peace out.